Have you ever stopped mid-step and thought, why do my legs feel weaker these days, even though I'm doing everything right? You eat well, stay active, and listen to your doctor's advice. Yet somehow, climbing stairs feels tougher. Getting up from a chair takes more effort, and your knees seem stiffer than before. Is this just aging? Or is there something else quietly at play? As a health professional with decades of experience studying the aging body, I can tell you, sometimes the issue isn't what you're not doing, but what you're unintentionally doing that your body no longer agrees with. One common surprise. Certain fruits. Yes, fruits, nature's candy. While most are filled with vitamins and fiber, some can actually make things worse when it comes to inflammation, joint stiffness, and blood sugar balance, especially in older adults. As we age, our metabolism slows, our immune system shifts, and even healthy foods can have unintended effects. This doesn't mean those fruits are bad, but they may no longer be right for your body at this stage. Take, for example, new research from the Journal of Nutrition and Aging, which shows that specific sugars and acids in some tropical fruits can aggravate inflammatory markers. In real life, I've seen this countless times. Clients in their 60s and 70s come in feeling frustrated by nagging leg pain despite clean diets. Once we tweak their fruit intake and balance it with anti-inflammatory foods and smarter combinations, such as pairing fruit with protein or healthy fats, their energy returns, mobility improves, and the discomfort eases. And let's not forget, when your body feels off, your mind does too. Chronic pain often leads to emotional fatigue, even isolation. That's why making informed food choices isn't just physical, it's emotional wellness too. Now, let's move forward. In today's video, I'll walk you through 7 fruits that may be quietly sabotaging your strength after 60, and share what to enjoy instead, so you can stay active, sharp, and free. Let's continue from where we left off. If you've been feeling unexpected heaviness or soreness in your legs, even with a healthy diet, there might be more to uncover. And one fruit that deserves a closer look is pineapple. Yes, pineapple is widely praised for its anti-inflammatory enzyme, bromelain. Many older adults are drawn to it, hoping to ease joint pain naturally. But as someone who has spent decades studying age-related inflammation and vascular health, I urge you to consider this. Pineapple may not always be your ally. Behind its sweet flavor lies a sharp acidity and a high concentration of natural sugars. In younger bodies, these compounds are easily managed. But after 60, our vascular system becomes more fragile. Blood sugar spikes, even from natural sources like pineapple, can silently damage the tiny blood vessels that nourish your legs, ankles, and joints. Poor circulation means reduced oxygen delivery to muscles, which can lead to fatigue, swelling, and discomfort during even gentle activity. And there's more. That acidity can irritate tissues already inflamed by arthritis or age-related joint wear, worsening the pain many are trying to relieve. I recall a 72-year-old patient, Mrs. Min, who turned to pineapple for joint relief but ended up with worsened knee pain. When she shifted to low-acid fruits and anti-inflammatory greens, her symptoms eased within weeks. There's also the issue of bromelain's interaction with medications, especially blood thinners. While pineapple doesn't scream danger, its effects are cumulative, no warning signs, just slowly worsening mobility over time. To enjoy pineapple safely, start with moderation. Avoid eating large amounts in one sitting. Always pair it with protein or healthy fats to blunt the sugar response. And choose fresh over canned versions. Remember, good health after 60 comes from understanding your body, not just following trends. Pineapple can still be part of your diet, but only when it fits your body's needs. Now, let's move forward. The next fruit seems innocent, soft, sweet, full of potassium, but is it truly a friend to your joints and muscles? You might be surprised. Now, let's move forward. After exploring how pineapple, though beneficial in some ways, can pose risks to aging joints and circulation, another fruit commonly considered healthy deserves a deeper look: the banana. Soft, sweet, and packed with potassium, bananas are often praised for supporting muscle strength and quick energy. But as someone who has spent years studying how aging bodies process food differently, I urge older adults to approach bananas with a bit more caution. The reason: bananas contain fast-digesting natural sugars and carbohydrates. In younger individuals, these offer a quick energy lift, but in those over 60, who often face reduced insulin sensitivity and a slower metabolism, these sugars can spike blood glucose levels rapidly. Repeated spikes over time contribute to insulin resistance, an early warning sign of metabolic imbalance. And when blood sugar control falters, inflammation tends to rise, especially in the lower extremities. I remember Mrs. Lan, a retired teacher who relied on bananas during her morning walks. Over time, she developed ankle swelling and knee stiffness. It wasn't until she adjusted her fruit intake and added more low glycemic options that she began to feel lighter and move more comfortably again. Her case mirrors what we see in research. Even natural sugars can quietly aggravate inflammation and vascular stress as we age. Additionally, bananas can promote water retention, especially in those with kidney or heart concerns, leading to puffiness, restricted joint movement, and more discomfort when walking or standing. But it's not just physical. Lingering inflammation can subtly affect mood, confidence, and social engagement. When your legs feel stiff and sore, you're less likely to move freely, and that feeds into emotional isolation, creating a downward spiral. So, what can we do? Bananas don't need to be avoided entirely, but moderation is key. Pair them with protein or fiber to soften their glycemic load. Be mindful of how your body responds, and choose anti-inflammatory foods like leafy greens and omega-3 rich options to counterbalance effects. Gentle daily movement, like walking or Tai Chi, also helps circulation and reduces swelling. Let's continue with the next fruit. It may look harmless, but for aging joints, it might tell a different story. Let's continue with the next part. After examining how bananas, despite their potassium benefits, can trigger inflammation in aging bodies, another fruit often seen as harmless and even heart-healthy deserves a deeper dive. Grapes. Small, sweet, and easy to snack on, grapes are widely praised for their antioxidant content, particularly resveratrol, which supports heart health. But the story doesn't end there. As someone who's studied aging physiology for years, I've seen that grapes, though nutritious in small amounts, can create silent complications for older adults when eaten mindlessly. The concern lies in fructose, the natural sugar found abundantly in grapes. Unlike glucose, fructose is processed directly by the liver, and as we age, liver efficiency can decline. When too much fructose is consumed, especially from fast-eaten fruits like grapes, it can be converted into fat and uric acid. Elevated uric acid levels are a major cause of joint pain in the feet, ankles, and knees. For many seniors, this leads to discomfort that seems to appear out of nowhere, like sudden nighttime toe pain or morning stiffness in the calves. I recall Mr. Min, a 72-year-old who enjoyed grapes every afternoon. Over time, he developed joint swelling and fatigue during walks. Once he reduced his grape intake and added anti-inflammatory foods like greens, walnuts, and salmon, the difference was remarkable. He walked easier, smiled more, and regained confidence. What's tricky is how easy grapes are to overeat. A few handfuls may seem innocent, but they can flood your body with sugars that worsen inflammation and compromise circulation, especially in the legs. The takeaway: don't eliminate grapes entirely, just eat them mindfully. Stick to small portions, pair them with nuts or yogurt to buffer the sugar response, and support your liver with cruciferous vegetables and hydration. Joint pain is not just about age, it's about choices. Now let's move forward to a fruit known for its refreshing taste and water content. But is it really as hydrating as it seems? The answer may surprise you. Let's continue with the next part. After reviewing how grapes, despite their antioxidant reputation, can quietly worsen joint inflammation, we now turn to a fruit often celebrated as the hydration hero of summer: watermelon. It's hard to resist. Juicy, refreshing, and made up of over 90% water. But for older adults, especially those dealing with tired legs or joint discomfort, watermelon may not be the innocent treat it seems. Here's what's rarely mentioned. Watermelon has a very high glycemic index. That means it causes blood sugar to spike rapidly, almost like eating candy. For younger people with stable insulin function, this might not pose a problem. But for those over 60, whose insulin response has naturally weakened, these sugar surges can overwhelm the system, inflaming tissues and disrupting circulation, particularly in the lower legs and joints. One case I'll never forget involved Mr. Richard, a 68-year-old who reported stiffness after meals and dull pain in his calves. He exercised regularly and took his medication faithfully. The unexpected culprit? His daily post-lunch indulgence: several slices of chilled watermelon. When we monitored his blood sugar, we saw levels spike above 160 mg/dl after eating, followed by fatigue and ankle swelling. After modifying his diet and replacing excess watermelon with fiber-rich snacks and healthy fats, his symptoms improved dramatically. Scientific studies back this up. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirms that high GI fruits like watermelon contribute to post-meal inflammation and reduced vascular flexibility in older adults. This doesn't just slow you down physically, it can cloud thinking, affect sleep, and sap motivation. The danger lies in overconsumption. Watermelon is easy to overeat because it's light, sweet, and usually pre-cut. But each bite floods your bloodstream with sugar, strains your pancreas, and irritates tiny blood vessels, especially those in your legs. So, what's the solution? Portion control is key. Enjoy a small slice with a handful of almonds or a boiled egg to buffer the sugar. Infuse your water with mint or cucumber to stay cool without the sugar overload. And most importantly, listen to your legs. If they feel heavier or stiffer after certain meals, it's worth rethinking what's on your plate. Now, let's move forward. Up next is a fruit packed with vitamin C, zesty, energizing, and often squeezed into health shots. But it holds a surprising challenge for aging joints that you'll want to hear about. Let's continue with the next part. After exploring how watermelon, despite its refreshing image, can stress circulation and joints in aging bodies, we now turn to another fruit that often enjoys a health halo: oranges. They're cheerful, packed with vitamin C, and almost symbolic of wellness. But for many adults over 60, especially those struggling with joint stiffness, hidden swelling, or early signs of arthritis, oranges may carry unexpected downsides, especially when consumed frequently and without balance. The main concern isn't the vitamin C itself. It's the high levels of citric acid and natural sugars that come along with it. These compounds can be irritating to already inflamed tissues, particularly in aging joints where the cartilage is thinner and circulation is slower. The result? More stiffness after sitting, discomfort upon waking, or that familiar heaviness in the knees after a simple walk. Margaret, a 72-year-old retired nurse, started each day with a fresh squeezed glass of orange juice. She believed it was boosting her immunity, but over time, she noticed that her ankles swelled by mid-afternoon, and her knees felt stiffer in the mornings. After switching to warm turmeric water instead, She reported clearer mornings and lighter legs within 2 weeks. Her story isn't unique, and science agrees. A 2020 review in inflammation research noted that acidic fruits may heighten joint sensitivity in older adults with inflammatory tendencies. What makes oranges tricky is the emotional connection many have with them. They symbolize health, not harm. So, when discomfort arises, few people suspect their daily citrus habit. This disconnect between good intentions and physical response can lead to frustration and confusion. So, what's the best approach? Don't abandon oranges completely. Just moderate. Swap in lower acid fruits like papaya or melon. If drinking juice, dilute it or pair it with healthy fats like chia or avocado to minimize sugar spikes. Ginger tea or golden milk can also offer soothing alternatives. And above all, pay attention to your body. Joint pain isn't always just age. Sometimes it's a message your diet needs adjusting. Let's move forward. The next fruit appears, gentle and nourishing, but under the surface, it too may pose an overlooked challenge for aging joints. Let's continue with the next part. After rethinking the acidity in oranges and how it may affect aging joints, it's time to consider another fruit often labeled as smart and safe. The green apple. Crisp, tart, and low in sugar, green apples are a go-to snack for many older adults. They're seen as clean, organic, and refreshingly light. But beneath that healthy image lies a lesser-known reality. For some people over 60, green apples may subtly contribute to leg discomfort, sleep disruption, or joint stiffness. It starts with malic acid, the compound responsible for that tangy bite. While beneficial to mitochondrial health in younger individuals, malic acid can irritate aging digestive tracts and inflame tissues already prone to wear and tear. As gut linings become more sensitive over time, this acid may no longer be well tolerated. Several of my older patients have reported hip tension, burning calves, or aching knees, symptoms they never linked to their daily apple routine. Then there's the natural sugar content. While green apples taste less sweet than red ones, they still contain enough sugar to cause spikes, especially in those with sluggish insulin responses. That means post-snack crashes, restless sleep, and even nighttime cramps. It's particularly problematic when apples are eaten before bed, a habit many adopt for late-night snacking. Mr. Allen, 69, came to me puzzled by his nighttime calf cramps and morning knee tightness. He exercised regularly and avoided processed foods, but after reviewing his habits, we pinpointed his evening apple snack as a possible culprit. Once he switched to eating apples earlier in the day, paired with almond butter, his nighttime symptoms noticeably decreased. The fix isn't cutting out green apples altogether. It's timing and pairing. Eat them in the morning, not before bed. Pair with healthy fats or fiber to slow digestion. Choose fully ripe apples when possible, and chew thoroughly to reduce digestive strain. Remember, sleep, mobility, and emotional well-being are all connected. What seems like a harmless fruit may affect how you move, sleep, and feel. It's not just aging. It's how your body responds to food. Let's continue with the next fruit, often seen as an exotic treat. But for aging joints, it may not be so friendly after all. Let's continue with the next part. After exploring the subtleties of green apples and how timing affects joint comfort, it's time to turn to a fruit that feels like sunshine in every bite. The mango. Sweet, juicy, and synonymous with summer, mango is beloved for its vibrant flavor and rich nutrient profile. It offers vitamin C, fiber, and antioxidants. But for adults over 60, especially those managing joint pain, muscle fatigue, or subtle leg inflammation, mango may be working against you without your knowledge. Here's why. A single, ripe mango can contain up to 45 grams of natural sugar, nearly as much as a can of soda, And as we age, the body's insulin response slows. Glucose isn't handled as efficiently, which leads to more frequent and longer-lasting blood sugar spikes. These spikes don't just affect energy, they trigger systemic inflammation, particularly in joints and soft tissue. If you've ever felt soreness in your knees or a dragging sensation in your legs after eating fruit, mango might be the cause. It's also about how fast that sugar hits. Mango has a high glycemic load, meaning it's digested rapidly. This sharp rise and inevitable crash can cause tingling feet, restless legs, and even evening leg cramps, especially for those with early neuropathy or sluggish circulation. The danger: mango feels light. It's easy to eat a whole fruit or more without realizing it, but your joints may feel the consequences long after, and beyond physical discomfort, chronic inflammation affects mood and motivation too. Disrupted sleep, stiff mornings, and recurring leg pain can silently chip away at emotional resilience, leaving you drained, frustrated, or disengaged from the activities that once brought joy. But mango doesn't need to disappear from your life. Eat it earlier in the day, never on an empty stomach, and pair it with protein or healthy fat, like Greek yogurt or a few walnuts, to slow absorption and protect blood sugar stability. Most importantly, know that some fruits can help, not hurt. In the next part, we'll highlight anti-inflammatory fruit allies that support aging joints and restore comfort naturally. If this helped you, leave a comment below or subscribe for more. You're not just growing older, you're growing wiser. Let's move forward together. Let's wrap this up with something empowering. While mango may be a tropical favorite, it reminds us that even nature's sweetest gifts need context, especially as we age. Our bodies change, and so should our choices. But here's the good news. Not all fruits work against your joints. In fact, some can become powerful allies in your journey toward comfort, strength, and vitality. Berries, for example, like blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries, are low in sugar, high in antioxidants, and packed with flavonoids that actively fight inflammation. Cherries, especially tart cherries, have been shown in studies to help reduce joint pain and stiffness in people with arthritis. And don't overlook pomegranates. Their juice contains punicalagin, a compound linked to improved circulation and cartilage protection. These aren't just trendy buzzwords, they're practical tools for everyday living. Choosing fruits that work with your body instead of against it means more fluid movement, better sleep, and a sharper, more focused mind. And remember, how you eat matters just as much as what you eat. Pair fruits with proteins and healthy fats. Avoid eating fruit alone late at night. Stay hydrated throughout the day. These little adjustments can transform not only your digestion, but also your energy, mood, and joint resilience. So, what's one small change you can make starting today? Maybe swap that bedtime mango for a few cherries in the afternoon, or trade your mid-morning juice for a handful of blueberries and some almonds. We'd love to hear what works for you. If any part of today's video resonated with your experience, please drop a comment below. Your insight might just help someone else on the same path. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell so you won't miss upcoming videos packed with practical, senior-friendly health tips. Your support helps us keep this channel growing and your health thriving. You're not just aging, you're evolving with clarity, strength, and wisdom. Let's keep moving forward together.